friends, we just started a new season, so I thought it would be interesting to read a book about it. And the book is Wonderful Winter, all kinds of winter facts and fun. And it's by Bruce Goldstone. Winter is a season of wondering and waiting. We wonder how animals live in the cold. We wait for first snowfall. We wonder how snowflakes form. We wait for some of our favorite holidays. Have you ever been to a place that looked like that, friends? So pretty. We wait for days to get longer. Winter begins on the winter solstice. In the northern hemisphere, which is where we live in the United States, that's a day near December 22nd. It's the shortest day of the year. Winter ends on the vernal equinox. That's when spring starts. In the northern hemisphere, that's a day near March 20th, when day and night are both 12 hours long. Look at how different the same tree looks at the different times of year. We wait to go outside. When you want to go outside in winter, you can't just run out the door, except if you live in Southern California. Sometimes you can, right? But in a lot of places, wearing many layers of clothing can help keep you warm, but putting everything on takes time. Look at some of the things that you could put on in the winter to stay warm, right? Like a flannel shirt and some gloves, a scarf, a hat, sweater, turtleneck, warm socks, jacket, and wow, another hat, 2 hats. Clothing layers create air spaces between your skin and the cold. These spaces insulate, which means they trap the heat from your body. You feel warmer because your body's heat stays in the cold spaces between layers. Outside, trees wait for warmer weather. In winter, a tree with no leaves isn't dead. It dropped its leaves in the fall because they would be too delicate to survive when it gets cold. Big flat leaves would also hold too much snow and ice. The weight of all that snow can make branches break. Trees with bare branches can stay strong and save water during all kinds of winter weather. Trees that drop their leaves in the autumn are called deciduous trees. So these are deciduous trees. We even have those in Southern California. Other trees have a wonderful way to stay green all winter. This is kind of like Christmas trees if you celebrate Christmas. Evergreens have needles or leaves that are covered with a heavy wax that protects them. This wax keeps the moisture in an evergreen from freezing. Evergreen needles don't last forever. These trees are evergreen because they are green all year round. Evergreen needles live for 2 to 10 years before they drop to make way for fresh new needles. Some evergreens lose most of their needles in autumn. Others shed old needles throughout the year. How does winter feel? Cold, frosty, toasty, hard, icy, sharp, soft, and cozy. Lots of different symbols of winter, like the ice skates and the glove. You can see your breath when you go outside, and a buffalo can too. Look at the buffalo. See that? Have you ever had that happen, friends, where you were outside and you were talking and then you could see your breath? That's what's happening here. Your breath isn't empty air. It always contains some moisture called water vapor. Warm air can hold more moisture than cold air. So when you exhale, that's when you breathe out in warm weather, the water vapor in your breath mixes with the air and you don't see anything. It's still there, but you just don't see it. But when you exhale in cold weather, water vapor from your breath hits the cold air and condenses into tiny droplets of water and ice. Your breath, or a buffalo's, forms a cloud like a light fog. Isn't that cool? You know it's a cold day if you can see your breath, right? Some animals wait for warm weather by slowing down. Some small mammals, including chipmunks, woodchucks, hedgehogs, and several kinds of bats, hibernate in winter. These animals curl up tightly while hibernating. Their heartbeat decreases and their body temperature drops to be almost equal to the cold outside. They don't eat all winter long. Oh my gosh, did you hear that? They don't eat all winter. Instead, they live off fat stored in their bodies. Every week or two, hibernators wake up and move around, but not for very long. Here's some of the hibernators. Wow. Other animals slow down, but they don't actually hibernate. Now, a lot of people think that bears hibernate, but you're going to find out that bears are not hibernators. These include bears, raccoons, skunks, and birds that don't fly to warmer places for the winter. See, a lot of birds fly somewhere else. These animals go into a very slow state called torpor. A torpor can last just a few hours, several days, or even weeks. Animals in torpor also drop their body temperatures, but not as much as true hibernators. These animals might wake up when they are hungry or in danger. Okay, so these are some of the animals that do that. It's kind of similar to hibernation, but they wake up more. And they sometimes, it sounds like they eat sometimes. Other animals keep moving all winter long to find food. Animals like beavers and some kinds of squirrels and mice gather extra food in the fall, but they still hunt during the winter too. So here's some that you might see out in the snow. Other rabbits, deer, moose, and many birds eat what they can find in winter, such as moss, leaves, twigs, bark, and seeds. Doesn't sound very tasty to me. Other animals, like the red fox, change their diet when winter comes, so they have to adjust, right? They have to change with the environment. Most of the year, foxes eat fruits and insects, but in the winter, when these foods are not available, they eat mice and other small rodents, right? Because the fruits aren't going to be out there with the snow, right? They're going to be gone by that point, so they have to eat other things to survive. Animals have some wonderful ways to handle cold weather, right? They can't go to the store like we do and go buy a jacket and gloves and all that. Animals adapt to the places where they live. Animals that live in cold areas are usually larger and heavier than similar animals living in warmer places. Polar bears are bigger than tropical bears. Deer in Michigan are larger than similar deer in Florida or Texas. The extra size and weight makes it easier for them to stay warm. So here's some differences, right? So here's the polar bear up here versus a bear that lives in a warmer place, and a deer in a colder place, and a deer in a warmer place. Body parts like legs and ears can also adapt. Long, thin body parts lose heat quickly, so legs and ears are smaller. In animals that live in cold areas, snowshoe hares have smaller ears than cottontail rabbits. Polar bears have shorter, thicker legs and snouts and smaller ears than tropical bears. Okay, so you see the difference, the pictures. So this, see the rabbit right up here versus the rabbit here. Look at the difference in their ears and the difference in the bear ears. What does winter sound like? Crunch, crack, scrape, whirr, hush, drip, zip, jingle, crackle, fa la la la. Lots of fun words for different, more symbols of winter, right? Like jingle bells and crunchy sound as you're with your boots and the fire, ice skates again. It's snowing, one of the winter's wonders. Snow begins when clouds get cold. Clouds are made of water vapor. Hey, remember we talked about that early, like the water vapor that comes out of your mouth when you breathe. When the temperature is 30 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, water vapor in a cloud freezes and forms snowflakes. A snowflake starts as a tiny ice crystal. Because the crystal is heavier than air, it falls to the ground. As an ice crystal falls, usually at a speed of about 3 or 4 miles per hour, it connects with other crystals and the snowflake gets bigger. By the time a snowflake lands, it usually contains about 200 ice crystals. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Up close, a snowflake looks clear or sometimes blue. So why does snow look white on the ground? The same reason that a pile of broken glass looks white. Light enters snow and bounces around in all those ice crystals. The light we see reflected from snow includes an equal mix of all colors. When you mix all colors of light equally, you get white light. Here, look, you can see the whole page. Cool, isn't it? Is it true that no two snowflakes are alike? That's something I've heard before. Let's find out. A tiny single ice crystal has six sides. As it connects with other crystals on the way down, the new crystals connect to these sides and form six arms. That's why most snowflakes have six sides, but that doesn't mean they're all alike. Look at some of the pictures of some of the snowflakes. I'm wearing snowflake earrings. Did you see that? A snowflake is a clump of many ice crystals. Every ice crystal is made of tiny parts called water molecules. These parts are much too small to see without a special microscope. One snowflake contains billions and billions of water molecules. Those tiny parts can be arranged in so many different ways that it's highly unlikely two snowflakes are exactly the same. In fact, it's unlikely two snowflakes have ever been exactly alike since snow first started falling on Earth. Wow. So look at all the different shapes. Super cool. What shape is winter? Six-sided snowflakes aren't the only shape you see in the winter. What might you see that's round? You see some of the round things? Like a wreath or an ornament, pine cone, yarn, parts of the snowman, right? What do you see that's shaped like a triangle or a rectangle, right? Like the Santa hat's a triangle, the tree's a triangle. Very cool. And rectangle shapes, like the thermometer, that tells you how cold it is outside. Or the part of the shovel. Oh, there's a round cookie too. Lots of different shapes. I see some star shapes and heart shapes too. All right. We wait for snow to try some winter sports. People have lots of ways to move fast or slow on snow. Here's some cool things. Maybe you've done some of these things before. Here's some snowshoes, a snowmobile, skis, snowboards, and a sled. Have you ever done any of those fun things to move around in the snow? Skates let people slide and spin on ice. They had the picture of the skates a few times, so now we get to find out about them. Ice skates are shoes with thin metal blades attached to their soles. Have you ever done that before, friends? When the skater steps onto the ice, the movement of the blade and pressure from the skater's weight melts the ice just a little bit, creating a thin layer of water. Skaters glide and zoom smoothly and quickly because they're actually traveling on water, not hard frozen ice. Wow, that's pretty cool. People don't always want to wait in winter. As snow falls, we can't always wait for it to melt before it's safe to walk up paths or drive on roads. So we use machines to move the snow. Kids in my class know that we read another story, right, about Katie and how she helped with the big snow. A shovel combines two simple machines with no moving parts, a wedge and a lever. The shovel blade is the wedge which digs into the snow. The shovel handle is the lever. The person shoveling provides the energy that makes this machine work. A snowblower uses a motor to turn a blade that pulls snow into the machine and then throws it to the side. Snowblowers run on electricity or gasoline. Look at that. Snow plows, kind of like Katie, use a large angled blade to push snow to the side of the road. Plows are very heavy so that they can drive through snow. A snowplow could be 15 times heavier than an average car. Of course, sometimes we move the snow just for fun, like when we roll or throw snowballs. When you press snow, the ice crystals stick together to create new shapes, right? So here is a snowplow, and then here it looks like they are maybe making a snowman where they're making big balls. Have you ever done that before, friends? We celebrate heaps of holidays all through the winter. Okay, Okay, here's some holidays that we celebrate in the winter, some of which we've already done. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, Groundhog Day, Valentine's Day, President's Day, and St. Patrick's Day. Those are all winter holidays. Which one is your favorite of those? At last, the waiting and wondering come to an end. Wonderful winter makes way for spectacular spring. See, look at the plants starting to grow out of the snow. The end. Hope you enjoyed learning more about winter, friends. I'll talk to you soon.